Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Say Word. I get to debate my mentor today, and we are talking about J. Cole, which I'm going to put on here right now. Oops, hold on. I'm writing that caption that stays up. That comment that we pin. Let's see. Do you think? There we go. I was trying to figure out how to phrase that. Oops. Dang. Pin comment. There we go. Okay, let me see if he's here. Debating Dr. Dyson. There he is. Doc!
Fine,
How you doing?
but I was just trying to show my book Why I Love Black Women.
I know, but you had it upside down. There you
I'm
go.
trying to be like Donald Trump, backwards and upside down.
Oh, well,
Why I
that's a
love black
person
women.
I don't want to be like today.
I know.
How are you doing?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. It's good to be on, your internets out here with you.
Well, I am so grateful that you would be on here. For those of you who do not know, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is a legend. He has bars himself. He is a hip hop scholar and someone who I adore very much. He is like my other dad. And so it is my honor today to debate you for Say Word about J. Cole. So let us start here, Doc. Everybody does not know what happened. So yesterday we know that J. Cole released a new song. And the song is called Snow on the Bluff.
Right.
And this morning, was that this morning that he tweeted? This morning saying that we may not agree with each other, but we got to be gentle with each other. He shouted out in this tweet thread, No Name, who of course is a young sister, a rapper who also has bars.
Right.
Where he said, he tells people to follow her. I love and honor her as a leader in these times. She has done and is doing the reading and the listening and the learning on the path that she truly believes is the correct one for our people. Meanwhile, a nigga like me just be rapping. That's what he said. So the question is whether or not, well, we should look at your post too. We want to know if you agree with him, and on your post, Doc, which is the reason why I was like, oh, I need to debate you, not just anybody. I need to debate Dr. Dyson. You say, why can't I get to it? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. You say, salute to J. Cole for his introspective, self-critical, loving criticism of a beautiful Black consciousness that must always be rooted in compassion for other Black folk who are learning and growing, while we keep an eye focused on the demand for justice for all of our people.
Yes, ma'am.
Say more.
Well, here's my point. Look, I love No Name and I love J. Cole. And I think both of them are incredibly talented artists. I think the request that when we reprove each other, when we engage each other, when we talk to each other, that we do so out of love and compassion. Now, it can be aggressive at points. It can be startling at points. It can be rather direct at points. But if we're trying to model a behavior of love for the broader world, if as I say, justice is what love sounds like when it speaks in public, then the connection, the nexus between justice and love must forever be there. So when we are correcting each other or engaging with each other or disagreeing with each other, we should do so out of a sense of respect for that other human being. Like, I could be wrong, right? I'm 61 years old. I'm old enough to know now that There's a bunch of stuff I'm wrong about, and I got to admit that I'm wrong about. Or when I hold my position, I can go, this is what I believe right now. Now, if you show me something different, I'm going to come along and change it. But let me tell you what lies beneath some of my anxiety, since you invited me on, is the tone and the snark that I see on social media that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Why do we have to talk to each other that way? And furthermore, I think to make this a case, somebody told me, oh, you must be another example of misogynoir. First of all, learn your terms. If it's a neologism that you're deploying, deeply involve yourself with broad knowledge. So when women disagree with each other, is that misogynoir to each other? I suppose it could be. I've seen some of the most vicious transactions between two women who refuse to acknowledge the fundamental humanity of the other, who have internalized what patriarchy in their own mind, and who may be deploying misogynoir for sure if they're Black. But here's my point. Just because I say
some of y'all don't know what he just said. Here, break it down.
I'm saying, don't be acting like it's feminist for you to be nasty. Sorry. I'm sorry. That doesn't cut with me. That doesn't pass muster with me. If you are nasty and vituperative, nasty and vicious, if you engaging in all kind of, words that hurt and harm, first of all, you're not a good teacher. Secondly, what J. Cole was trying to say, if you're trying to reach the audience that you're reaching, these are the people that you got to reach. And sometimes they were not born having the possibility. Look, you come from legendary stock. The reason, I don't know if many people know, the reason Angela Rye, one of the leading voices of our generation, besides being my daughter, one of the leading voices of her generation is because she grew up out of fertile ground that was deeply planted with social consciousness and with parents who were revolutionary in their insistence that Blackness would become the predicate and premise of the assertion of our humanity in the world. It also comes with an acknowledgement that we must treat each other with love. Otherwise, we're undercutting our argument for the quote, the white man to do the same for me. Why would the white man, white person, white supremacist society treat Black people with respect when we can't even treat each other with respect? Now,
yeah.
So I'm arguing not this resting bee face that we talk about women like, why you like that? Or your tone, police tone. I ain't trying to police nobody's tone. I'm trying to say my mama told me you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. My mama told me that it's how you say what you say, not just what you say. And Black people who have majored in style should know that above anybody else. You can do it like this. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon of light. Or you can go 50 years ago, great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. There it is. So all I'm saying is, I'm not trying to suggest that we should subordinate concerns of substance, politically speaking, to issues of tone. Sometimes you got to get angry. Sometimes you got to get nasty. Sometimes you got to get in the face and aggressive. I get that. I'm saying as a general measure of respect for the other, we must have a sense of understanding that that other person may not be where I am. And I'm a teacher. I have to always assume my students don't know. So I don't go in there nasty. You know how some people go, you mean you didn't know that? Yeah, I thought you didn't know that. Okay, I'm just saying, be careful because there's going to be a lot of stuff you don't know either, right? And so my point is the approach. I'm not talking about tone. I'm talking about methodology. Mm-hmm. I'm saying how when Martin Luther King Jr., among many others, was leading his part of the movement, they had to scrutinize themselves. Yeah. Now, I know this is older generation stuff. I know a lot of younger people say, that's your generation.
Teach. We need to know. Teach it.
Martin Luther King Jr. made sure with his branch of the movement, I know there are many others, Ella Baker with her tremendous mentorship of SNCC. When we think about Septima Clark, Joanne Robinson with the women in Birmingham.
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Fannie Lou Hamer out in Mississippi, not Birmingham, but in Montgomery. So my point is, that they scrutinize themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Let us examine our own moral compass. Let us make sure that what we are doing is for a right cause.
Mm-hmm.
Let us also be able to not fall for the okie doke when these white folk come up to us and try to make us call them out of their names to justify and legitimate their assault upon us. Now, I know a lot of younger black people go, that's your generation, that's respectability politics. I get what y'all saying. First of all, where did respectability politics come from? Do you know where that term came from? Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham, out of her book, Righteous Discontent, about black women in the National Baptist Convention. So black people were forced, right? Black people were forced to prove their humanity to white folk who already doubted it because they were lynching us, castrating us, and raping us. But the point was, we believed that our moral deportment could somehow become a substitute argument for our civil rights. And a lot of black people said, no, because you can't. Look, Martin Luther King Jr. was dressed right. Rosa Parks was dressed right. They were doing everything right, but they were still being mistreated. So your respectable behavior alone will not secure the rights after what you seek. That's true. Mm-hmm. But that to me is different than black people having such disregard for each other. To me, it's small bursts of white supremacy in the black mind when black people can't even treat each other with enough respect to say, you know what, I disagree with you. Or, mm-hmm. Hey, young person, did you know, I know you're spitting a lot of stuff and you're really smart, but there are a lot of things that you could read. I invite you to think about these things from my perspective. Now, I ain't right. Just because I'm old, just because I wrote a book called Why I Love Black Women don't mean I can't be held to account. Just because I before it was popular, before Negroes were woke, so woke they sleep now, before people got woke, that I wrote stuff when it was on the line, when ain't nobody looking, when they wasn't checking, when they weren't in a love with black women. And they were asking me, why are you writing books about black women? White women came to me, don't you love us too? Italian women, don't you love us too? I mean, I was paying the price for it. And I talked in my book about colorism, about light versus dark, about Angela Davis. So miss me with the Johnny-come-lately whiff of your own self-importance, and you have not done the significant and serious and substantive work. Now, I'm not saying that if you've done all that work, you'll have to agree with me. We can disagree. I just hate what the internet has done. And what it has done, it has made people believe that the fastest quote, the nastiest comeback, the clapback. Look, you think I ain't got skills? You think I don't know how to come back? You don't think I could kill half these people coming at me in 1 or 2 words? Or the rest of the people, you think I was born with a PhD from Princeton? Look, I was born in them streets out there. But I have enough respect for black women who have often been our leaders, black women who without recognition have done so much of the work, black women who defended black men and then came home to face the backhand and the demonization from black men who were both envious and jealous of their ability to rise to the top, thinking that somehow they must have partnered with white men to go against them. I'm against all that madness. But what I'm not against, what I will not, I think, in my own understanding, suggest is that you're going to call me misogynoir because I insist that the principle of mutual respect and reciprocal self-recognition should be the basis for what we do. Now, we can have other kind of disagreements. Think about it. Now, I got many friends and people I love saying, look, I ain't teaching white people nothing. I'm tired. I'm out here doing my thing. I was laughing at Amanda Seals when she said she on her trampoline. That cracks me up. But let me tell you something else.
Amanda can flip, though. You know that's a gymnast. She can.
Oh, she real with her, right?
Flip, yeah.
But here's my point. I was at school one day and the kids were like, and I understand why the black kids are saying, we ain't come to Georgetown to be teaching the white folk stuff. And so I got with them one day. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of this. I didn't come to Georgetown to teach what. I said, oh, I'm a professor. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. So teaching folk is what I do.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something else. If there's a tired black person, I get it. If black people en masse are fatigued, I get it. But there are many other black people who ain't. So all of us ain't tired. Some of us ain't fatigued. And some of us who are, the reason Amanda Seals is fatigued, because she's been putting in the work from the get-go. The reason Amanda Seals, I don't want to speak for her. The one reason why she may be fatigued is because when she got her master's degree at Columbia University, and she graduated from an Ivy League school, and she put into sweat equity to engage in serious, sustained analytical prisms through which she could articulate her conception of what Blackness is. That is rigorous. It then translated into comedy, then translated into socially accessible sound bites for people. She done her work. But I'll say this, many other people are not fatigued and tired, and we have to do the work. Because let me tell you this, if you tired, Candace Owens ain't. If you tired, Paris Bernard ain't. They are willing to fill the minds of willing white people with malarkey.
I wish I could have bleeped that out, but I hear you.
I know,
Doc,
but I'm just saying.
You're supposed to be debating J. Cole.
I love J. Cole.
You filibustered me like the Senate floor.
All right, well, let's talk.
But it was good, so I was in it. All right, let's go.
You
guys need to know that Doc teaches like this even on phone calls. You guys need to know that. And he might send you a text with some words you haven't seen since your last SAT, okay? I just want
That's my daughter. And I love her. That's my daughter. She's killing me. See how she cracking on me? But it's nice. See how sweet that is?
It's kind.
Bam.
That's the sweetest honey you're gonna get from me. It's still gonna be a semi-clap back. But you know what was so interesting to me earlier is J. Cole is one of my favorite MCs. Definitely in this era is one of my top 5.
Right.
He's constantly educating us, you know, on records, including Window Pane, which was just an intro from the last record, the last album. And so, this song, I like the song and generally like the principle, but what I can relate to is the folks who say, why do brothers have to tell us about our tone? Like, we should be able to have the freedom of our own expression, especially in this moment, and teach and school and educate and vent however we need to. And so even if it was off-putting to him, like, at what point do we get to just be free for ourselves to say, this is where I am, this is how I'm processing information, and what if whoever he's talking about, because people are saying he may not have been talking about no name. He name-checked her in that Twitter thread, but maybe he wasn't. Even if he wasn't, like, at some point, just like he doesn't have to check in with us on how he comes across, we shouldn't have to check in with him to make sure he can receive it. That said, it doesn't mean that he should not have allies and people whom he can learn from. But I just think that it's a bridge too far when you're telling people, you know, you can't do this. Have you thought? There's nothing wrong with saying, have you thought about this? But if it's truly somebody who's his friend, I hope he thought about before blasting the person in the song, calling them and saying, you know, hey, this is something that's I'm feeling defensive about. I'm raw right now in my emotions, just like you. I want to learn. I feel, you know, vulnerable or insecure even about my lack of knowledge, and I want to use my platform responsibly. Can you teach me? So even if he's like, you know, I need to get this off my chest, that's what the hell she was doing on her platform.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so unless like somebody's coming right at his neck and calling him irresponsible and all that, I feel like with the old people saying, hit dog will holler. So if he was feeling guilty about whatever it was that he was consuming through his eye gates, he should sit with why that is instead of attacking. And right now, I just think in particular, you know, Zora Neale Hurston, who said, we say now, the black woman is the mule of the world. We shouldn't have to carry everything. We shouldn't have to be responsible, not only for teaching, but whether or not what we're teaching is acceptable to the person. We shouldn't have to do all of that. And I just think at some point, we have to be mutually responsible for how we engage. Men shouldn't get a pass any more than a woman should get a pass. Like, we should be equally and mutually responsible, you know. And it's frustrating because I think that what I don't want to do is police either of them to the point where they feel like they can't express themselves. But if we're honest, there are probably men who do the same exact thing that J. Cole is talking about this woman doing, that, like, you didn't say nothing about them.
Okay. I mean, look, everything you said is legitimate. I don't have a disagreement with anything you said, but I want to make an addendum, a coda, if you will. Okay. For me, that is true. To police black women's style, the aesthetic of their expression, the degree to which their pain and agony and trauma causes them to reach out, speak out, express themselves. There is no question about that. I'm not trying to police that at all. What I am trying to say, however, there are strategies and methodologies, some of which are more effective than others. If that's effective for you, have at it.
Yeah.
But if I'm in the target audience and I go, what, you know, if you said that differently, you know, other people might be able to hear that. I get that feedback all the time. After
Me too. You know, I get that feedback.
I know. And I'm saying to you, ain't none of us past that. Feminism doesn't excuse self-critique and rigorous scrutiny. Now, I don't think that the policing of Black women's tone is what we're talking about here, because to reduce it to that means that when I see Black women going at each other in very destructive fashion that I think is not helpful, that hurts me too. And I have clapped back at men, especially. I'm very sensitive about when women come at me, but when men coming at me, like, you know, like, where you at, man? We need you on the front line. So I hit him with the Jay-Z. I'm everywhere. You're never there. I've been everywhere. I ain't seen you. I done wrote 22 books. I'm on the front line getting arrested. I'm taking care of the baby. Look, dude, I'm doing more than you even know. So you don't want to holler at me. But having said that, there is an approach. I think there's a general demeanor that is being encouraged in this age. This is what I'm trying to get at. And I think this is implicated in that. I think the very the methodology and the tone itself is reflective not of independent, autonomous Black female self-assertion. You can do that if you want to. But I'm saying, if I say to you at the same time, dadgum, there's a way in which if you hit me on the back of my knuckles with your ruler, you might think it's going to make me learn, or you can give me, you know, there's a stick and there's a carrot. There's a way in which you can say, let me check myself, because my intent here is not to alienate you. It's to be a good teacher. All of us have moments when we can just, you know, rage. All of us can be cathartic. But I'm saying, for the most part, it's not just Black women who have to, quote, police themselves. Black men in corporate America who can't be, you're an angry Black man. So you can't show, you can't even manifest your, look, all of us are, quote, self-police at a certain time. And we want to be able to express ourselves and articulate ourselves without the encumbrances, without the limitations that are severely imposed on us. I get that. So I ain't trying to tell Black women what to do. But what I am saying is that I might respond to you by saying, I think this is more effective than that. I think this way might get at it better than this. And let me tell you something else. The arrogance of the presumption. And I think what J. Cole was trying to say, if you grow up in a culture, whether or not, whoever he's talking about, where you done read the books and you know what you're doing, and you know how the stuff operates, and you an answer right kind of woman because you done read all the stuff and all the history and you got a law degree and you down, you are even more responsible for being careful about how you talk to other people. Let me tell you, you remember those old Westerns? I'm an old man, so y'all probably don't do this. They used to have them old Westerns. I stayed with my daddy late at night, and you knew the TV was going off when they started playing the national anthem. Dun, 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 dun.
TV going off.
Wasn't but 3 networks, y'all. And the TV about to go off. But look, we'd be watching those Westerns, and in some of those Westerns, they would say, look, you are a gunslinger. You got to check your gun in at the sheriff's office because you might kill somebody out here. I'm saying you're doing the same thing with your mind. People you're trying to reach, people who are beneath your level, people who don't know what you know. You've got to spoon feed them. It takes time. Sometimes you get real pissed, like, dang it, don't y'all know? And you tell them, read a book, MF, and so on and so forth, and get real net. Well, hold on. Many times I want to say that. But I say instead, let me share with them. Let me remember what it was like not to know at that level, or people who haven't had the leisure to do what I do. The reason I do what I do, I have the luxury to do what they can't do. The reason Black people stop me on buses and streets and see me and say, keep representing me, because I take the time to represent them. And they keep saying this, but you're such a down-to-earth person and we love you. Now, I'm not trying to brag about myself.
You are.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Be sweet and gentle to our people because they're already under assault. They are already being hurt by white supremacy. And yes, Black women even more so. The triple effect, the quadruple effect of Black women dealing with all the stuff you said and more. So we have to understand, I'm not saying that black men should come home in a domestic terroristic fashion and demand that black women adhere to their, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is that if we are conscious that we are creators of knowledge, information, inspiration, and that we have a responsibility, your age can't let you off the hook. If it was true 200 years ago with our people, it's going to be true 200 years from now. You have to have a sense of humility and self-recognition. Assertion, yes. Pride, yes. You can be arrogant at times to show these folk who are trying to come at you, they don't know what they're doing, yes. But by and large, what I took J. Cole to be saying is that be gentle and careful with the people who are under your tutelage, because the very people you're trying to encourage may be turned off. He wasn't just speaking about himself. It wasn't an individual thing alone. He was speaking collectively for many people who may not have a voice or a platform to say, hey, I want to come along. I want to learn, but I feel ignorant. I feel embarrassed. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And as a result of that, we should be a lot more gentle with them. And I think gentle is a political term. It's not just an existential term. It's not just an emotional term. It's not just an affectionate term. Black people rarely show black people the kind of love we desire and deserve in this world. Boy, if you got the women of Real Housewives of Timbuktu, you get beating up each other. We get paid for that. Slow down.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Don't you think that I think it's interesting that we're talking about J. Cole's whole approach was to be gentle and to be aware of how this woman, who we don't know who it is being perceived. But then the very thing that he asked her to do, he didn't do himself in the song.
Wait a minute. I think a song, as opposed to a rant on, going on Facebook or Instagram, you know what? I can't stand these chicks, man. They be
okay, so it was a creative expression drag, but it was a drag nonetheless.
It was a loving, compassionate critique.
Da.
Because, well, why? Because he criticized himself.
Da.
He criticizes himself. Let's read the words. Let's just read the words.
Well, I'm so glad you asked for receipts, because you know I have them.
Okay, look. Now he says, they thinking I'm deep. This is how he starts. Look at the first N words, think I'm deep, intelligent, fooled by my college degree. Hello? He's starting with self-critique. He says, my IQ is average. First of all, he's lying about himself. The man is really brilliant, but I ain't mad at him. Look at the humility that he has. He says, my IQ is average. There's a young lady out there, she way smarter than me.
Don't break it down line by line. Get to the drag, sir.
What's the drag? She mad at celebrities low-key. I be thinking she talking about me. Now, I ain't no dummy to think I'm above criticism. So when I see something that's valid, I listen. But, S-word, it's something about the queen tone that's bothering me.
Literally tone policing right there.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is tone policing? Where the hell do young people get that? What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Your mom told you got to watch your mouth with me. Now, I ain't saying
that's it. That's tone policing. You better watch your mouth with me. It's tone policing. Only people that should be able to tone police you is your mom and daddy and your grandparents.
And the reason they tone police you so you can police yourself outside. So when you go outside.
So anyway, he took it upon himself. He literally is talking about tone. And then he says, she strikes me as somebody blessed enough to grow up in a conscious environment with parents that know about the struggle for liberation, and in turn they provide her with the perspective and awareness of the system and unfairness that afflicts them. So he's assuming privilege. Is that safe to say?
Well, he may know it. We don't know who he's talking about, so he may know that she has privilege.
Okay. Here goes Leonard. Leonard's talking about I tone police him all the time. That's probably true. In fact, I think it happened before we got on this. Is
that called femme noir? What is that called? When you're masculine noir? What are you doing?
No, it's called trolling your brother who trolls you 95% of the time.
Okay, y'all do that to each other. Y'all are funny to me. but here's my point.
Yeah.
Why is it that if he says that the way you're speaking to people and others may be counterproductive to your goal is tone policing?
Well, I think that part is fair, but how you said it is not how he said it. So the point is, Doc, wait. To use your line on you, he could have won more bees with honey. And so the point is, like, if you're
Like
going,
what? Give me an example. Give me an example. Like what?
what you just said, like, you know,
but
sis, I'm feeling fragile right now. Your tone hurts me, and I feel like I can't learn from you, and I really want to. That's completely different.
Okay, but I don't know if that rhymes, but okay, that's good.
Well, rhyme it for me, Doc. You know how to
Okay.
do these things better than
You
me.
can do what you're doing, and I feel like I'm ruined, and I look at you, and I'm not a Bruin because I don't play no hockey, but I feel like the puck. So let's just not. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is the following. I think that this genre, given how rough hip hop has been and continues to be in a misogynistic tone toward women, the sheer virulence expressed against Black women's bodies, I'm not saying even comparatively, this is far, far better. I'm saying absolutely in its own right, what he is doing is offering loving criticism. The reason I say it's loving, he starts with himself and criticizes himself. He acknowledges she's smarter than he is. He goes on to say that her ability to articulate is of such a nature that we have so much riding on what she does.
Call on me, Doc. Call on me.
Of course. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Here's my question. Could you see it from this perspective? He starts with himself,
right,
to show her that he's humble,
right,
and he doesn't have what she has. And then he goes to her to point out that she needs to bring it down a notch and be more like him. Could it be that?
That could be one interpretation. I don't think it was the same because look at how he ends it. When he said the dude that he didn't think about, remember what he says? He says, these shackles be locking the mental way more than the physical. I look at freedom like trees can't grow a forest like overnight. Hit the ghetto and slowly start planting your seeds. F is the point of you preaching your message to those that already believe what you believe in echo chamber.
Now, time out. On the echo chamber, how come the sis isn't getting out what she feels, and it just so happens that it resonates with people, and that is a source of comfort for sis?
That's exactly, look, that's absolutely true. Whoever it is, that could be absolutely true. But there's also a way in which, look, I know that I do the same thing. I have to go way beyond. I mostly speak and preach in arenas that are not echo chambers for me.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to do that, right? When I go, and you do the same thing, you go speak for white folk who, this ain't my natural audience. So these people talking about, oh, echo chamber. No, I'm going out here taking the message. I wrote a book called Why I Love Black Women, but I wrote a book called Tears We Cannot Stop, a sermon to white America.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be tough on them. I knew it, so I called them beloved. I said, look, you are my fellow human beings. And I'm lowering the hammer. But I'm doing it hopefully with love. A velvet glove, a velvet vice, but I'm trying to understand and empathize with their vulnerability, their fragility. Not that I accept it as the basis of our communication, but that it also conditions how we are to effectively reach them. So look at the end when he says, ran into this N-word outside of the store yesterday. He said something that had me like, wait. So he ain't got all the answers. He was like, Cole, appreciate what you've been doing, my brother. That's real. But damn, why I feel faker than snow on the bluff. Well, maybe because deep down, I know I ain't doing enough.
And so that's the whole point to
that's
me.
Self-critique.
No, it is. He starts with self-critique. He ends with self-critique. And in between that, there's a distraction. And the distraction is the sister that's doing the work. The sister that's doing the work in a way that he can't receive it, but it still may be effective to others. And I think that's the part that's frustrating to folks.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. It ain't just J. Cole. The reason it resonated, the reason it was powerful, because a lot of us feel that way. I feel that way, and I'm doing a lot of work. I feel that way before people were born. I know you do, right? And I'm saying, like, when somebody criticizes me, I ain't mad at the critique. Because when I was in graduate school, one of my professors said, whatever you say about Dyson and getting a PhD at Princeton, whatever you say about him, the young man is able to absorb and is hungry for criticism. So I ain't saying I'm ready for that. But you ain't got to be nasty to me. You ain't got to when on here. Here's the way to do it. Yeah, you just one of these bourgeois Negroes, yellow nigga. You just sold that. Wait a minute, slow down. Yeah, I am yellow and red. That's true. And I've written about it in my book when I talk about colorism. And my daddy was blue black. And I talk about how black people mistreated him before white people did, right? So I cover that on the Soledad O'Brien CNN, the first year of Black in America. She interviewed me and my late great brother, rest in peace, Everett Dyson Bay. He was dark, I was light, and I talked about the privilege I had in reference to him. So
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm willing to talk about that self-critique on a number of fronts.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be coming at me with no nastiness. Like you've been out here for 5 minutes on damn Twitter and you think you know the world. J. Cole is speaking for a lot of people who are sick and tired of that kind of snark, that kind of diffidence, that kind of nastiness, and that kind of inability to acknowledge your humanity and humility.
Yeah.
He is resonating so much because that is how so many people feel. And by the way, a lot of black women agree with what he said.
Yeah, but there are a lot of black women who don't agree. This is hard for me because I feel literally, I was like, I can argue either side because I see both sides.
Right.
But the frustration right now is that for black women who are doing the work every day, it would just be nice to be like, I see you. I may not agree with everything you're doing, but I appreciate you. I value you. And I think that's a different song. The other thing that I would just question is the timing of this. Like, was this the song that needed to be out right now? If you're feeling like you're not doing enough, why not add value to the movement right now? Why not talk? And I definitely want to give credit to the fact he posts about defund the police. He posts about he raps about.
He's on the
stuff.
street. He's protesting. He's getting out there with the people. J. Cole got skin in the game, and his bonus.
I agree. I've like rapped.
But here's my point. Here's why now. Here's why now. I didn't mean to cut you off, but here's why now.
Fine.
Why now is because this is, when they say it's always the right time to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Here's the point why it's necessary right now. As we are engaging in struggle, it's deep enough to feel the enmity and the hostility of white folk when I got to turn around and look at you doing the same thing to me. Right? No, stop it. Like, stop it. It is unacceptable. It is not politically prudent. It is not helpful to us as a black people. And to me, white supremacy gets smuggled in when we think we're being snarky and we think we're being, telling people, oh, I told him or I told her. And I see it all the time on social media. It is one of the worst habits that we have developed as a people. And I don't want to get into something else. The cancel culture to me is one of the most destructive.
It's too much. It's too much. And I want to be clear, that's not what we're doing. We're having an intellectual discussion about whether or not it was a bridge too far or not. We're not canceling J. Cole. I told y'all that's one of my favorite rappers.
No, of course. You're not. But so many people have. They said he's canceled, he's done and all that. I'm saying, well, first of all, you ain't got no subscription to no magazine. You can't cancel nobody. You ain't got no credit card company. You can't cancel nobody. And if you can cancel anybody, cancel Donald Trump. And I tell you what, if people can cancel Donald Trump, I'll be cancel culture #1. I'll be out there cancel. Cancel. Because you can't cancel anybody. That's a white supremacist logic. The notion of extirpation, of extermination, of removal of another human being. Now, I know it's meant metaphorically that we put that person in the box and then we do something. But if words matter, because that's what we're talking about right here, then words matter. Now, to me, again, the reason I vehemently disagree with the knock on J. Cole is because the man starts in self-critique. He ends in self-critique. He lovingly disagrees and criticizes. That's the whole point. Martin Luther King Jr. disagreed with Malcolm X. Malcolm X was far nastier.
Yeah, he was.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr. was the Malcolm X, but King said, I think Malcolm is fomenting a kind of self-destruct. Right? So he said that. Malcolm was like, he's the greatest tool the white man has ever had. Wait. So why didn't they wait? Why didn't they wait until the civil rights movement was over? Until the black freedom struggle was over? Because words matter in the moment in which we deliver them. And some people have lined up thinking they are the arbiters of true black revolution, that they have the copyright on the appropriate way. I ain't mad if you do it that way, that's great. But if I say to you, I just happen to believe that your particular approach is not one that will win over those that you claim you are aiming for, then you got to at least listen to that. And where's the room? I want to challenge the black women that I love, that I wrote the book, Why I Love Black Women. I want to challenge, where is your critique of that particular approach? Where's the critique of saying, you know what, sometimes we say things in ways that are harmful and destructive that may be counterproductive to what we do. Now, we know we live under the burden.
Everybody does, not just women. Everybody does.
Oh, no, I'm talking about specifically, since we're talking about black women. You're absolutely right. But I'm saying to you that where is the self-critique? Where is it? Why is it that if you disagree with me, I got to be misogynoir? Why is that?
Well, I
Why
did not say that. I don't know who said that to you, but
a
I
lot
don't
of
agree.
people, but a lot of people saying about him, saying about me, and look, and we're two different people. But I'm just saying that we have to be more willing to be introspective and self-critical and a bit more humble. And I say this as a person who's written a bunch of stuff, who's been on the front line a bunch of times, who, like you, appears on TV and does stuff. I say we have to be a lot more humble, listen to those that we need to learn from. The reason I love you so much, besides you're amazing, is I learned so much from you. I learned how to approach things. I learned what younger people think about it that can teach me something. So we all need to listen and learn. But where's the reciprocity? I'm saying that J. Cole may be a little bit older than the young lady he's speaking to. Maybe. It doesn't mean that he will automatically be smarter and more wise, but I think there's wisdom in those words. And if we listen to those words, we can begin to scrutinize ourselves. I hate it when we reduce it to tone policing. I get that. I get that why that's difficult. I get that why that's problematic to tell somebody the way they say it. But I tell you what, I'd rather somebody say, you know, the way you saying that ain't really helping. Ultimately, your goal, if your goal is to win people over, to understand what you're doing. And at the end of the day, if you are a servant of the people, you have every necessity to treat them with the uttermost respect. Because those of us, whether it's the brilliant and gifted No Name, or the brilliant and gifted J. Cole, the brilliant and gifted Angela Rye, and whoever, you have a responsibility to whom much is given,
much is
required.
Come on,
we gotta say, we gotta do it. Come on now. I mean,
well,
this is what we do. We're servants.
I appreciate you breaking down your perspective. I definitely feel torn. I hope that there's a whole album coming, and that whoever he's talking with, they can have a sidebar and they can come back out on a song together or something.
That'd be nice too. That'd be nice too.
We need to be united right now because black people can't breathe.
Let me tell you what, there's no doubt about that. And this is one of the few moments, and I'm glad you said that. See, to me, one of the greatest white supremacist stratagems is to make black people believe we have to be united. All of us. Because we'll never do that.
Oh, Leonard is going to be excited about this. We were just arguing about this. Thanks, Doc.
Look, Jews, Poles, Italian, Irish, ain't nobody all together. Look, Clarence Thomas is black, but you ain't with him, so you ain't unified. Candace Owens is black, but you ain't with her. No, but here's my point. My point is, all black people don't have to agree with all black people for all black people to love all black people. And I'm saying to you that Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, it was 4 Negroes who changed this world. It wasn't a whole, but most black people never got involved. This is what kills me about Twitter fingers and social media hype and stuff. Most black people, even before social media, were never physically involved. Martin Luther King Jr. was being interviewed in 1965 by, I think it was Alex Haley in Playboy magazine in the interview. And he said, why isn't it that most Negroes are not involved in the civil rights movement? They're not on the front line. And there are many reasons. Black people, first of all, it was against the law to be part of the NAACP. A lot of black people were scared and intimidated, but they did what they could. I can't march, but I can cook. I can't march, but I can sing a song for you. Yeah. I can't go out there and speak like you can speak, but I can provide you a home when you're on the road. So everybody has a division of labor.
Yes.
And some of our assaults, everybody can't do everything.
That's right.
It takes a small remnant of black people and of American conscientious citizens to change this world. Even though we look on TV and we see all those people out there, small percentage of what our population is. So we thank God.
Can they not be in the way? Like, I don't care if they don't do the same thing or whatever, but can they just not be in the way of progress?
Of course. I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, I said help, not hurt. Be an obstacle. Don't be an obstacle.
Just don't say anything. If you can't say you're standing in solidarity with, just shut up.
Did you hear that, Tiger Woods? So what I'm saying to you, but the hurtful thing to me is when we do this to each other. We turn our razors on each other to cut each other. We turn our intellectual bazookas on each other and blast each other. Let's try to respect difference, to tolerate diversity, and to encourage multiple forms of rebellion. And
J. Cole.
then,
I feel like you just spoke to J. Cole, so that means you agree with me.
I love J. Cole. I love J. Cole. I love J. Cole. And I think what he said is so necessary and so powerful and so timely. And I'm glad he made the song, because if no other reason, you and I have a conversation that I think and I hope is instructive and helpful to a few people who might listen.
Yeah, I hope so too. Doc, I appreciate you. This
Love you,
was
baby.
good. I love you so
you.
much. I'm so grateful for you for always teaching me. I learned substance. I learned strategy. I learned SAT words. I was trying to think of another S so you could appreciate my alliteration. I'm fresh out. I'm fresh out. But I'm so grateful.
All right, baby. I love you. I love what you're doing. You're
Love
one of
you.
great leaders, and continue to lead us, continue to give us insight, and continue to articulate with your many faces. I ain't trying to face police you. Express them moods. Express those tones in a beautiful way. I'm not mad at that. Thank you so much, baby.
You got a freestyle before we go? You know you like rapping.
I mean, I ain't trying to say I got freestyles, but it's been a while. Look at me, honey child. I'm trying to do the thing like what? My name is Buck Wild, but I spit like I do. My name is Mikey D. I write hooks like write hooks. I write books like write hooks. I write books like write hooks. That's what I do. You heard? M-E-D.
Love you. Thank you,
Love
Doc.
you too, baby.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you guys, that was awesome. It wasn't all the way a debate because Doc is my professor. I didn't even take a class, but I mean, you're always gonna learn from him. So that was great. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Leonard is on here, so I guess that means we might be doing sibling rivalry today. Yes, he's a trip and he's a troll. That's Leonard we're talking about. And I'm going to get a snack really quick. I'm on this vegan cleanse. I need something in my life before we start sibling rivalry at 4 or 7 Eastern. Okay? So just in a little bit. Give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Bless y'all. Leonard said defund the tone police. All right. Bye, y'all.